Hey everyone, this is Christopher Luxon, the former CEO of Air New Zealand.
This is John Lee Dumas, the founder and host of Entrepreneurs on Fire.
This is Tracy Ibarra. I'm in Executive Solutions at Dell Technologies.
This is Travis Chappell, founder of Build Your Network. If you are wanting to learn how to embrace change,
To navigate through disruption as a leader,
then listen to the Leadership is Changing podcast.
The Leadership is Changing podcast.
the Leadership is Changing podcast with my good friend,
my very good friend, Denis Giannoutsos.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsos.
Hey, welcome to the show. Leadership is Changing. What we as leaders know to be true is that change is constant. Leaders everywhere confront similar obstacles because people are people, but everywhere you go, leaders are overwhelmed, disrupted, and under pressure. They run from email to email, meeting to meeting. Many leaders are not changing quick enough, which means they run the risk of becoming irrelevant and being left behind. The purpose of the show is taking our listeners' leadership to another level by finding their balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. I believe we don't have enough effective leaders in the world today, and if we can get the leaders to step up and lead change, then they can inspire real change. Hey listeners, it's now time to adapt in our fast-moving world, and I want to welcome you to the Ask Denis episode, which is a freestyle episode. I'm asked a question by our listeners, where I share my thoughts, insights, and experiences from working with many leaders around the globe. Listeners, if you haven't already check out the Facebook group. Leadership is Changing is a great group there, and some great questions being shared and some comments and thoughts from people who are sharing with each other and learning from each other, which is fantastic to see. So go and check that out. That is the Facebook group, Leadership is Changing. Hey, I want to talk to you today in this episode in relation to don't let fear stop you from achieving greatness. Yes, that's what I mean, is that a lot of you are going to have fear that will stop you from going and achieving something great, going and achieving some success, getting some results based on what you want to go and do in life and in business and so forth. See, people have set their goals for the year. Some haven't yet. Some are still thinking about it, but some have actually gone ahead and set them. There's been a study done in Michigan State University that talks about 76% of those who write goals down, took actions, and provided regular updates successfully achieved their goals. That's 76%. 33% higher than those who didn't write their goals. And that because they had a success rate of 43% of goals achieved. So from that study, we know that those who actually write down their goals, take action, and provide regular updates successfully achieve their goals, which is fantastic. Now, the thing here is there are a group of people who don't achieve their goals. Now, why is it happening? Why aren't they achieving their goals? What's going on for them? Well, for some of them, there's this word fear. There's the word but that is used a lot. So a lot of people will say things, but they can talk about but, and then they always give an excuse or a reason for why they're not doing certain things. Now, a lot of them use the could have, should have, would have scenario of, I could have done that. Well, I should have done that. They're successful, but, I would have done that, but, I just didn't get there in time to do it. So there's always an excuse, the could have, should have, and would have. But there's this other piece too. And I'm finding that there's a lot of people that I work with who have this in some level. Each one is different. Each scenario is different. But they talk about this thing, the impostor syndrome, where they feel like they're not able to succeed, or not them. Other people, yes, but not them. Or I don't feel like I've got enough degrees, or I don't have enough experience, or my business is not big enough. And so they have this imposter syndrome. It's been wonderful to see those who have gone ahead and done things in life, who had the imposter syndrome. But as they worked through it and they did very well, you saw them move mountains. You saw them do wonderful things, how they actually conquered that imposter syndrome, but went off to go and achieve fantastic things for themselves and for their organizations. Now, let's talk a little bit more about that word fear. F-E-A-R. F stands for false, E stands for evidence, A stands for appearing, and R stands for real. False evidence appearing real. What do we mean by this? Well, for a lot of people, they will think about things and they churn things over in their head, or they hear things from other people and so forth, but that's actually not the way it is. Or they will come up with stories, or they'll come up with thoughts, or they'll come up with excuses or barriers and so forth that they're making up in their mind. It's not always that way. So there's a perception, and that goes on to something what I call a terror barrier. They have this, the fearful, so there's the terror, they're scared, there's this barrier, and they need to break through that terror barrier to move forward. There's also this thing called fear of failure. Sometimes I ask my coaching clients, is it a fear of success? Because not everyone wants to succeed. They want it, but they don't know whether they deserve it. They don't know whether they should be there, and that's where the imposter syndrome comes into it. But the thing here I ask them is, what happens if it works? What happens if it's all okay? What happens? Just imagine if you did to put it in place. Where will you go? Where will you be in the next 12 months? Where will you be in 6 months from now? So, false evidence appearing real is actually something that's out there that's actually stopping some people from achieving greatness. For some people, they just talk themselves out of it. They've got this self-doubt. They may even listen to what others are thinking. Now, they think that others are thinking about them, but actually, some news for them, breaking news, people don't think about you. People don't think about you. So whatever they do think about you is none of your business anyhow. Because you see, they're not thinking about you. So don't take time out to sit there and worry about what other people are thinking. The thing here as well is that others might try and talk you out of things. Don't buy into it. There's a lot of noise out there. If you think and you know what you want to go and do, and you've got a plan, you've got that big why and so forth, then go out there and do it. Don't buy into them other people telling you that things aren't going to work. Gosh, the number of times I've been told and not to go and do things. The number of times that I've been told not to do things, but I went ahead and did it anyhow. Or he was lucky. What do you mean? Oh, he was lucky. But they're the same people at the beginning who tell you not to go and do it. Same people at the beginning who will actually try and discourage you. Team, if you know what you want, you go ahead and go out there and get it done. People have tried to stop me, as I said. I remember that I wanted to go on a career into the police force. At the time, my fiancée, now my ex-wife, at the time said to me this: it's either the police force or me, you choose. So I chose her. Now, hindsight's one thing, but the thing at the time was that decision based on what I was, or what was going on for me. I still today will wished I had gone into the police force. Nothing against her, nothing against the relationship, anything like that. It's just the fact that sometimes we will listen to other people. The number of times people have actually said to me, oh, you won't start a podcast, and if you do, you won't last very long. Hello? See how it's going? Team, if you want to go and do something, and there's something in your life that you want to go and ahead and do it, then go and do it. Don't let fear or others stop you from achieving greatness. Now, I always talk about 6 steps here that can actually help you resolve a lot of this to be able to achieve greatness. Number 1, know your why. Understand what your why is, your drive, your dream, your purpose. Number 2, write down your goals. If they're written down, it actually makes a big difference, and you can actually focus on them. Now, you don't actually have to have them written down in front of you all the time, although it's really good to do that. But what I'm trying to get at is that you can always have something what I call a list of things for you to get done. Now, it's not a list for things for you to do. It's not a to-do list, because to-do lists never get done. They don't always get done. Not everything gets done, but it's a list of things to get done. Write down those things, those tasks. You don't need to write down the goals and have them in front of your to-do list or get done list every week, but at least you know where you're going overall. Make a plan, a high-level one is what I say. There's no need to procrastinate. There's no need to get the plan perfect and things like that, because it'll never be perfect. But make some sort of high-level plan. Number 4, commit. Now, one way of showing commitment is by taking action. And if I talk to as many entrepreneurs, leaders, successful business people, athletes, sports people, whatever that is, they always come down to one thing. Yes, you have a dream, you know where you want to go and so forth, but it always comes down to one thing: action. And if you go out there and do it and start to put things into place, that's when you'll start to see that you're committed. When people start to see that you're doing certain things to a certain level, that's when they're going to go, aha, she is committed. He's committed. So commit by taking action. Number 5, solicit the right people to support you. Now, that could be a friend, a colleague, a coach, but solicit the right people. Make sure you get the right people around you to help support you. And number 6, build high levels of accountability. One of the biggest things that you can do as a leader today, as an entrepreneur, whatever field you're in, is have accountability. Now, accountability could come in several ways, right? Now, you could have accountability from the fact that you have a boss, a manager, a leader that you're accountable to based on your goals. Could be your partner, husband, wife, partner, whatever it is for you, someone you're accountable to. It could be a colleague, a friend, but someone that you're committing to doing things and you're going to be accountable to them. Accountability partners is quite a good thing to do as well. In other words, somebody else has got goals like you've got goals, but you hold each other accountable and you check in on a regular basis. I've got a couple of people that I do that with, and I check in with them on a regular basis, and they check in with me as well. And what they're doing, what I'm doing, and we're keeping each other accountable to doing certain things. So team, let's do a little bit of a summary here. 76% of people who write down their goals achieve success. So there's something in that, right? 76% of people who write their goals down achieve success. Make sure you're writing down your goals. Write them down in a journal, in a book, whatever is the right thing for you, but write them down. They may not be clear for you right at first, but keep writing them down, keep writing them, keep looking at them and revisiting them and work through it. Number 2, fear. False evidence appearing real. It paralyzes people. People get stuck. They use excuses, the could have, should have, would have. It's false evidence, team. It's only appearing real because we might think it, or we overthink it, or we're trying to convince ourselves that it's the actual reality when it's not. Number 3, don't talk yourself out of it. And don't allow others to talk you out of it either. Don't buy into the noise. Do what's right for you. And then, of course, the 6 steps to success, to achieve your greatness, I should say. Number 1, know your why, your purpose, your passion, your dream. Number 2, write down your goals. Number 3, make a plan, a high-level plan. Number 4, commit by taking action. And number 5, solicit the right people. And number 6, build high levels of accountability. So that's what I wanted to talk to you today about. Don't let fear stop you from achieving greatness. I know that a lot of you this year are going to go off to do some great things. Some of you right now are thinking about what you want to do, but you don't know how to get there yet. I too are the same like that as well. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to achieve. I don't know how to do that yet. But I'll tell you what, when the student's ready, the teacher will arrive. And it's happened to me. It's happened to me time and time again. When I've been wanting to move on to go and do something, the teacher will arrive in front of me. And the same thing can happen for you, team. And so what I'm going to encourage you to do is to try and get yourself a coach. A coach, someone that's going to actually help you, someone that you can be accountable to, someone you're going to commit to, someone's going to support you, but someone that can help you work through your goals and around these areas I've talked about today. Because a coach is the one that's going to really, really help you be successful. A coach is somebody who's going to help you move forward and help you do what you need to do. A coach is going to allow you to go to new levels of those accountability and other levels and other things you want to do and help you be successful to achieve greatness. Because you see, to achieve goals, write them down, make a plan, and get the right support. If you're wanting that right support, feel free to reach out to me. My email is going to be in the show notes, but also I'm going to give you my email at the end of the show. Send me a message, a private message on social media. If you want a 30-minute strategy session with me, let's get together and talk about things. Let's understand a little bit more about you and what's going on for you and what you want to achieve, and then we can talk about how I can help you. Team, it's amazing to see people who have gone and done this and who actually go on and achieve things. 2021, there's the unknown and unfamiliar territories again. For a lot of people, they're going into further lockdowns. For some people, they don't know what's going to happen for them next. For other countries, they still are back to sort of normal, if I can put it that way, the new normal. However, they still don't know whether they're going to go back into lockdowns as well. So what can you do, team, to get yourself ready? What can you do to make sure that you're match fit, underway, getting things ready and getting things in place to help you move forward? Because you see, you don't want to let fear stop you from achieving greatness. What we as leaders know to be true is that change is constant. Change is incredibly scary, especially with the unknown and the unfamiliar territory. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing. Look out for the episodes as they're being released. Download them. Have a listen. Put a review and a rating. Share them with your friends, your family, your network. If there's any feedback you'd like to give me on the show, or if there's a question you want me to ask my guests as I interview them, or if there's a question you have for me on the Ask Denis episode, which is a freestyle episode, then send me an email, dennis@leadingchangepartners.com. Hey, listeners, thanks for tuning in today. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsas. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.